from any of the day?
I have a timeline that does not have specifics.
That's...
What? Could you imagine if you told, like, your 5th grade teacher, not even college, like 5th grade teacher, yeah, where's your homework, Timmy? I don't have it. Well, where is it, Timmy? I have it, but it doesn't have, like, the specifics of, like, the answers to it. This is the director of the Secret Service, and that answer wouldn't fly in a 5th grade classroom.
At what point is he determined a threat?
Great question.
An individual with a backpack is not a threat. An individual with a rangefinder is not a threat.
What about a man laying on a building that has direct line of sight of President Trump with a gun that people are...
Right. This is nuts. This is where we see the parallel realities of the left colliding with reality. They want to believe that they are exempt from the objective parameters that would hold them accountable for their debauchery and failed ideological mayhem. But this question demonstrates that their ideology got them to this point. That question right there, the insanity of it having to be asked.
Direct line of sight of President Trump with a gun that people are screaming and pointing out. Is
right,
that
at what exactly? The question is essentially, at what point is that a threat? And then...
Threat, Ms. Cheadle?
Once that individual was identified, they were neutralized.
Identified? What do you mean? No. They were neutralized after they were able to fire. This is insane. This is crazy. I can't believe the narcissism goes so deep into the degenerate female psyche that she thinks that she can answer questions this way in front of Congress.
No, they were neutralized. Crooks was neutralized after he shot President Trump in the face, Ms. Cheadle.
This is bonkers. This is crazy. This is post-sanity stuff.
Is he only a threat once he fires the weapon?
As soon as the counter sniper identified that individual, they were able to neutralize them.
What are you talking about?
Who was the agent in charge? How long has she been the agent in charge? And what is her Secret Service background?
So I'm not going to provide a name.
Why not? You're here to answer our questions.
Forum.
The idea that the director of the Secret Service wouldn't provide a name after what happened, the gravity of what happened. Could you imagine this being any other time in American history and then the director of the Secret Service refusing to answer that question?
Going to provide names of...
You stated in your testimony...
We all know that the reason she's not is because the person who failed is a woman, and they failed obviously due to exorbitant incompetence, honestly, something that just transcends incompetence, and that she would be held accountable, and in the hive mind of the left and feminism, that is synonymous with oppression.
You said, I am here today to answer your questions.
That is correct.
Answer the question.
I'm not going to provide names of our...
Reality is offensive to women who have had their brains destroyed by the left.
Our personnel.
Why not?
Today.
The American people are demanding these answers from you today, Ms. Cheadle.
I will do the best to provide you accurate information.
These people think they're above reality. Look at her face, the way she responds. I will try to do my best. She was just asked to respond.
You today, Ms. Cheadle.
I will do the best to provide you accurate...
Look at that.
...information based on the facts...
This is like your narcissistic aunt.
...facts that I have at this time.
You're not answering...
That she thinks she's above reality, but in this situation, she gets held accountable brutally. And her legacy is destroyed. She didn't even have a legacy to begin with. But this is her legacy. Utter incompetence and failure.
During our questions. The advance element coordinates with other intel or law enforcement partners, identifies threats and weaknesses at the sites and movements. We'd like a copy of the advance report. Have you brought it here with you today?
We will comply with the request for the documentation that has been requested.
When will that be, Ms. Cheadle? Because you should have brought it today.
I am certain that our personnel are working on obtaining all of that document.
I don't believe you.
What do you mean working on obtaining? You should have had that the day this happened.
Neither do the people watching this hearing. You're not doing well, as Mr. Moskowitz informed you. You've been sitting here for over 3 hours, and I have you know the entire country is demanding you resign and demanding that you be fired if you do not resign. Things are not going well for you. You need to answer the questions. Was there a protective intelligence team, and what technical
I mean,
resources?
she's right. This is. It goes beyond her losing her career, though. This speaks to the incompetence that is fostered, actually, by the left. See, the reason why incompetence gets fostered when you deny meritocracy is because when you remove the necessity for the individual to take responsibility for an objective world, like Marxism does, like the ideology of the left does, the inevitable outcome is what you select for loses the element of meritocratic competency. And so the people that you get are like this. They're like this woman here.
Resources were utilized for that event, specifically drone or helicopter assets?
There were a number of technical assets that were deployed for that event, and there was a protective intelligence team that was assigned to that event.
Why was Crooks able to fly a drone over the entire area the day of the rally and the day of his
That's insane. I didn't know he was able to fly a drone.
assassination attempt?
To my knowledge, he did not fly the drone over the entire area.
How did he fly a drone over the area?
Dude, what an insane response. And look at the denial in her face and in her tone.
She did not.
What type of response is that? He didn't fly it over the entire thing? The fact that he was able to fly it over any part of it is insane, and you should be taking responsibility for that, saying, this is a massive failure, I can't believe it, this is terrible, we are conducting investigations, et cetera, et cetera. You'd at least think they tried to lie or come across as if they're remorseful or that they care about their failure. This type of response is insanity.
Not fly the
It was not over the entire area. Like, okay, there wasn't some square footage, he didn't fly it over. How was he even there?
drone over the entire area.
How did he fly a drone over the area, period? Any part of the area?
Again, I would have to go back and check the timeline of when that took place and when the...
She has to go back and check a timeline? You should have that answer first of all. But you have to go back and check a timeline, okay?
Why didn't you bring the timeline with you today to answer our questions?
I don't have...
What do you mean? She doesn't have a timeline? Or, I mean, you mean like a piece of paper? Or she can't even tell you in her head when things happen? But you have to have a timeline for this as the director of the Secret Service, because you're here to testify for attempted assassination.
have all of the answers on the timelines based on the criminal investigation.
Were you not prepared
What?
today to answer our questions?
I am prepared to answer the questions based on the information and wanted to be able to provide.
Do you have a timeline
What information?
that you
You failed to answer.
have a timeline at all?
This is okay. You might be thinking, is this level of incompetence orchestrated? Is this the most incompetent woman in the entire government? The answer is actually no, because this type of incompetence is encouraged and fostered by the anti-meritocratic sentiment of the left-wing regime. To enforce, much less expect there to be a level of performance is oppressive, it's patriarchal, it's unacceptable. It's the reason this insane woman was able to get this job in the first place, and she knows that she's done here. You can tell that she's resigned herself, not just literally, I mean mentally, she's resigned herself to the fact that her legacy's destroyed and this is going to be her legacy. And so the facade's gone away, and she's not even trying to sound professional. She's not even trying to answer the questions in good faith. You can tell that's coming through, and it's extremely ugly because it reveals how the left operates always.
From any of the day?
I have a timeline that does not have specifics.
That's
What? Could you imagine if you told, like, your fifth grade teacher, not even college, like fifth grade teacher, yeah, where's your homework, Timmy? I don't have it. Well, where is it, Timmy? I have it, but it doesn't have like the specifics of like the answers to it. This is the director of the Secret Service, and that answer wouldn't fly in a fifth grade classroom. Are you kidding me? This is who the left is.
shocking. That is
Look at the smirk on her face. See, this is the narcissism of the left. They think that they should be able to answer questions like that. Seriously, look at this.
Specifics.
that's shocking.
Bro, in her head, she knows what she just said is insane. She knows that's ridiculous. But the narcissism of the left says, our ideology supersedes reality. You don't have to be accountable for anything. And that's where the narcissism comes in. Because that's obviously pure, like, narcissism.
Shocking. That is absolutely unacceptable. That means you are a failure at your job. Let's talk about...
It's not funny, though, because, well, it's funny, obviously, on a surface level. But See, this is emblematic of a problem. She isn't the entire problem. The problem is that she was able to be appointed to this position. The left did this. Oh, but she's a woman. She should be appointed here. They have quotas. They have diversity requirements. They're not interested in competence. You notice how the next day after the attempt, Trump was surrounded by only men that were like 6'4"? Like, they are aware. People are aware that when you have to get serious, you need people that are competent for the job.
Things that are prohibited in Trump rallies, and I've been to a lot of Trump rallies. Backpacks and bags.
So all of these things she's about to list are prohibited at rallies.
Bicycles. Firearms.
Obviously.
Any type of weapon or any other
Right.
item determined to be a potential safety hazard, like a rangefinder
Like
would
anything you couldn't take on an airplane, you definitely couldn't take. You know what I mean?
be one. At 5:10, Crooks is first observed by one of the snipers, AGR Sniper 1, at the building. 5:10.
5:10 is an hour and 1 minute before the first shots were fired, because the shots were fired at 6:11, which is, by the way, in the Bible, 6:11 Ephesians is talking about the divine armor of God. I'll just leave that out there. The divine armor and defense against evil.
5:10. President Trump was shot in the face at 6:11 p.m. 5:28. AGR Sniper 1 takes a picture of a bicycle and 2 bags. Those belong to Crooks.
Okay. More than 30 minutes before they saw a bicycle and bags. Prohibited things.
5:32. AGR Sniper 1 spots
Oh, but there's a woman in charge. Right. But she's a boss queen. I'm sure she's a boss queen.
Crooks looking at
If that woman still has a job at the Secret Service, no one is safe.
his phone and using a rangefinder.
A rangefinder is how snipers, like, dial in their scope, by the way.
5:55. Butler ESU Command confirms receipt of photos. 5:55. Butler ESU Command confirms receipt of photos and states they have been relayed on.
15 minutes before the first shot was fired? They knew?
6:05 p.m.
What?
AGR Sniper 1 later communicates that Crooks is seen moving northeast in direction of Sheets and that Crooks has a backpack. 2 minutes.
How's this information just... This is confirmed information that the director didn't even acknowledge or put out there.
Before the shooting, while President Trump has been allowed to take the stage, people see Crooks laying on his stomach in a sniper position on the roof, and they're yelling he has a gun, and they are trying to...
This was orchestrated, guys, and that's not a conspiracy. At this point, you have to conclude that. That is the only logical explanation. It's the only possible explanation. 15 minutes before they saw him. Pictures.
to alert law enforcement and Secret Service. Why was Crooks not shot by the snipers?
Right, exactly. If they see him, they know he's there. Why was he not shot? And you know they were able to, because if you watch the footage, 2 seconds after Crook fired the first shot, the sniper counterfire took him out.
Why was he allowed to be there?
As soon as the individual was identified as a threat, they were...
No.
What do you mean as soon as the individual was... There were bystanders that saw him with a gun and were yelling. He's over there.
Considered to be a threat? A man with a gun laying in a sniper position. A man that had a back...
Okay, it's the defiance and complete degenerate narcissism that really is disturbing to me here. Because if you look at her face, she thinks that her answer, the thing that she just said, should be enough. And a degenerate feminine psyche would say, you just didn't like my answer. No, your answer was utterly incompetent and a failure to objective standards.
Considered to be a threat. A man with a gun laying in a
Look at this incompetent freak.
sniper position. A man that had a backpack. A man that had a bicycle. A man that had a rangefinder. At what point is he determined a threat?
Great question.
An individual with a backpack is not a threat. An individual with a rangefinder is not a threat.
Okay, right. So you're telling me that if I take a device that is used to hone in a sniper rifle, and I take that to, like, you know what I mean? Oh, that's not going to be a problem? Yeah, I don't think so. They don't even let that on an airplane.
What about a man laying on a building that has direct line of sight of President Trump with a gun that people are
Right. This is nuts. This is where we see the parallel realities of the left colliding with reality. They want to believe that they are exempt from the objective parameters that would hold them accountable for their debauchery and failed ideological mayhem. But this question demonstrates that their ideology got them to this point. That question right there, the insanity of it having to be asked.
direct line of sight of President Trump with a gun that people are screaming and pointing out. Is
Right.
that
At what exactly? The question is essentially, at what point is that a threat? And then
a threat, Ms. Cheadle?
Once that individual was identified, they were neutralized.
identified? What do you mean? No. They were neutralized after they were able to fire. This is insane. This is crazy. I can't believe the narcissism goes so deep into the degenerate female psyche that she thinks that she can answer questions this way in front of Congress. It's beyond comprehension. It really is. And the thing is if they were not facing this backlash, they would actually try to let her keep her job and cover this over, because they don't want to face the reality of consequences, because consequences speak to an objective framework. It's the exact same thing that happened with the presidents of Penn, Harvard, and MIT. Those presidents would not have been fired if there wasn't this public backlash and Congress holding them accountable like this, because the left doesn't want to face accountability for its wretched depravity.
No, they were neutralized. Crooks was neutralized after he shot President Trump in the face, Ms. Cheadle.
This is bonkers. This is crazy. This is post-sanity stuff.
Is he only a threat once he fires the weapon?
As soon as the counter sniper identified that individual, they were able to neutralize them.
What are you talking about? You just admitted seconds ago that they knew 15 minutes beforehand. See, this is the incongruent incompetency that is promoted in the degenerate female psyche that the left takes advantage of. This person was put into this position of power and influence because she's malleable to that ideology.
Were people in the crowd? Okay, then let's just take it this way. People under your command did not consider him to be a threat, yet people in the crowd knew he had a gun and considered him to be a threat.
And were letting the authorities know. So the Secret Service knew as well.
That means that you are a complete failure as the director of the Secret Service, that people under your command don't perceive a man laying on a roof with...
And the director, and not, okay, so this is a degenerate female, but also the person in charge of the entire thing was also a degenerate female.
Direct line to the president with a gun. They don't perceive that to be a threat.
Right, because that's objective parameters. Oh, what do you mean? That's an objective threat. Oh, what do you mean? Oh my gosh, you mean I made a mistake? Women will do anything except take accountability. And if you have any experience with confronting women for their mistakes, let's say, you will know that that's true. They will do anything except admit their wrongdoing. Anything. And you're seeing it confirmed here. This is the reason why they can't be in positions like this. And it's a sad reality. Actually, it's not sad, because it's just biology. Biology is neither sad nor good. It is simply what it is. This is a disgrace.
Yet the people in the crowd do. How is that possible?
That's the last question, but please answer the question, Ms. Director.
I'm not certain at this time how the information from the people in the crowd was relayed to any law enforcement person.
What do you mean, how? From their mouths. Audio from their vocal cords.
No.
No, you knew that everyone knew. The people there knew that there was a danger. They knew there was a threat to President Trump, and it was allowed to happen. Was there a stand-down order, Ms. Cheadle? Was there a conspiracy to kill President Trump?
Absolutely not.
Then how did this happen? And why are you still sitting here not turning in your letter of resignation?
Last question, but please answer, and then I'll recognize Ms. Presley. Please answer the question. Director.
That is what we are investigating to determine.
We are investigating if I shall turn in my resignation. They don't see, if it was a man, he would immediately turn in his resignation because it's such a disgrace. But because it's her, oh my gosh, I have to wait and see if I'm going to be forced to adhere to objective parameters. If it was up to them, if the administration was only degenerate women, they would never face accountability, and our country would be over in months. Guys, this is This is nuts. I can't believe someone would sit in front of Congress like this. But this is what I mean by this next election cycle is going to be a renaissance for the red pill. So many people are going to realize that men and women are psychologically not the same, with Kamala now running against an alpha masculine billionaire. It's so over for them. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Let's hit 1,000.